Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another video. A little bit of a different sit-down chat today. A lot of people talk about how tough it is or ask about how to balance life as a student athlete in college. A lot of times I see these videos on YouTube where people kind of give the short answer like, oh, like time management, like you figure it out. It's definitely tough to have a balance between that, yada, yada, yada. So I thought I would actually break it down for you guys. Now for me, it's a little bit different. So I currently have my USAT Elite card, which allows me to compete in professional triathlon. I just can't accept money because NCAA. Anyway, triathlon is much more volume than just running. So I do a lot outside of practice on my own. So I'll be factoring that in. But really in this video, I want to break down the time I spend in classes each week, the time I spend doing school outside of classes each week, and the time I spent training and just kind of what that looks like. Last week, I timed how long I spent outside of class doing classwork, and then I also have like my schedule broken down for classes, so I'm gonna share all that with you so that you guys can see really what a typical day looks like in terms of busyness. It really is a lot. So yeah, really all student athletes kind of deserve some kudos and a pat on the back. Got all my notes, we're ready to roll. I'm gonna start by breaking down my class schedule for you guys. So this semester I only have 3 classes, the least amount of classes I've ever taken, but it is 12 credit hours. So 2 of them are pretty long. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have advanced writing practice from 9:10 to 10:10 in the morning. So it's an hour. The homework varies by week, depending on if we're doing textbook reading or writing a paper. Last week we were doing a paper. So it's just our week to clean up our rough draft and turn in a final. But not even writing the entire paper. Last week alone, I spent 4 hours cleaning up this draft of my rhetorical analysis. So there's 4 hours of our week. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my longer days of classes. I have a drawing class from 9:40 to 12:40, and then a 2-hour break where I go to photography, which goes from 2:40 to 4:10. A side note here, we start practice at 4:15. We have to take our cameras and editing equipment to this class, and then have to lug my camera and stuff to practice. It's incredibly annoying, and I feel incredibly rushed and stressed every time. Drawing homework. So drawing requires 4 new quality drawings in your sketchbook each week for homework, as well as any unfinished class material or classwork that we're doing. So last week, I had to finish this celebrity portrait that I was doing of Billy Idol that I did not finish in class, so I had to take that home. Last week we met at the Historical Society in downtown and practiced doing some still life kind of drawings with objects at the Historical Society. I had to do 4 drawings basically of that, and that was also our homework. Last week, outside of this 3-hour class, I spent 6 hours and 6 minutes drawing. So a lot of time. For photography, this project basically we had to have 50 pictures and 10 of them were chosen to make diptychs with. So diptychs are side-by-side pictures that have some element that can bring them together and kind of tell a story ideally. You have to take your 50 different pictures, and it's not like you're taking pictures of the same thing. You have to cover a certain amount of pictures with natural light, with artificial light. There's a bunch of different requirements for that. Most of the editing is done in class. We have 1 day in class, it's a lab day, and that is our day specifically for editing all of our pictures. I did not time the time that I spent shooting outside of class, the time that I spent actually taking pictures, because it's just a lot. It was very sporadic, but it's literally hours. Not including the time I was editing in class and not including any of the time that I spent shooting pictures, I spent 2 hours and 10 minutes editing outside of class. So overall, for school then, about 24 hours worth of actual school and education. Next, I want to talk about training. So last week, I spent 15 hours and 40 minutes training according to my training peaks. This varies week per week. 3 weeks ago, it was 19 hours and 21 minutes. I also want to specify that this does not include lifting, stretching, core. This is solely the time that my watch is running during an activity. So what does that look like kind of broken down in terms of my training schedule? Right now I run 4 to 5 days a week. I get in close to 30 miles. Swimming, I swim Monday through Friday each week. It's generally around 20,000 yards. Generally, each time that I'm in the pool, it's 60 to 90 minutes. My bike schedule, it depends if I'm gonna run at practice or bike during practice time. Some days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll triple and bike in the middle of the day if I'm running at practice, actually. Additionally, it's tough because I either work on weekends or will be away competing. Total right now we have, 15 hours and 40 minutes last week. We'll just say 16 hours. So 16 hours plus the 24 hours from school. So that's about 40 hours. Again, we're not counting the time shooting pictures for photography. That's like a full-time job then, is the student athlete portion for me. And that's not counting times for meetings, stuff like that. So I really hope that the time I spend doing this is worth it one day, and maybe the algorithm will notice me and my videos will just pop off all of a sudden. So I wanted to tell you kind of what a typical weekday would look like. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's today. I have class in 20 minutes. I'll either have a slow morning like today, or a bike ride if I'm tripling, and I'll grab some breakfast. And I have class at 9:10, and that's my riding class. I'll go straight to the pool after class to get in the water at 10:30. I'll swim and be there until about noon. And then I usually have from 1 to 4 p.m. to do homework. At 4:15, we have practice with a team meeting, usually on Mondays. After practice, we have this stability and mobility routine that we do in the gym. We do some post-run, general strength stuff, hurdle mobility, and then I always end with some core. Tuesdays and Thursdays, early swim morning, class from 9:40 to 12:40. I'll have a break where I'll get lunch and then have about an hour or so to kind of hang out or do whatever homework I can. Then I have class from 2:40 to 4:10 again, and then I go straight to practice with all my photography stuff. And then I'll do my lift and core and then come back here. So yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so 40 hours a week. And then for work, I work a 6.5 and a 5-hour shift usually. So there's another 11.5. I hope this gives you a better idea of how time is broken down as a student athlete and how it is really helpful to have a schedule and have a plan. I'm definitely a creature of habit and routine. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, comment. I might give you more. Like and subscribe to this channel if you want all things running, triathlon training, etc., etc. Next time I see you will be in Virginia Beach for NCAA D3 Nationals, where I'll be racing the 3K. So catch you on the flip.